Charles Barkley's never been a person who was shut up. He's known for his outspokenness on controversial issues. He's also known to court controversy. Ironically, Charles was making a comment recently about race. Wow, he never talks about race. I wonder why Chuck talks so much about race. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that as we watch the clip of Charles Barkley putting it down, representing, speaking the truth out loud. All right, Johnsons, check this out.
I'm a black man.
Shared that news, how painful it was.
Yeah, but the one thing I took out of that piece was, man, I think most white people and black people are great people. I really believe that in my heart. But I think our system...
Here we go.
Shared that news, how painful it was.
Yeah, but the one thing I took out of that piece was, man, I think most white people and black people are great people. I really believe that in my heart. But I think our system is set up where our politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, are designed to make us not like each other so they can keep their grasp of money and power. They divide and conquer. I truly believe in my heart most white people and black people are awesome people, but we're so stupid following our politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. And their only job is, hey, let's make these people not like each other. We don't live in their neighborhoods. We all got money. Let's make the whites and blacks not like each other. Let's make rich people and poor people not like each other. Let's scramble the middle class. I truly believe that in my heart.
All right, Johnson. Okay. Now, this clip from Charles Barkley went very viral. People were talking about it all over the internet. I reposted it not only on Twitter, but also on Instagram and Facebook. That's right, 3 places, Johnson. It did very well. People said, oh, wow, Charles Barkley is spitting truth to power. And I did agree. He's right. But after some self-reflection, I realized that Charles Barkley was talking about politicians. Was he really right? Okay, I'm going to call it 50-50 ball, okay? It's like a rebound. 2 people jump up for it. It's a 50-50 ball. Anybody can get the ball. Let's go with this. Here goes my first piece of criticism about Charles Barkley's comments. I would have liked it better if he would have said the media. Yeah, man, it's the media that does that shit. What are you talking about, Chuck? Oh, that's right, because Chuck's in media. Chuck don't want to say it's the media that really divides us. I mean, come on, is it really politicians? I mean, I know what Donald Trump did, but Donald Trump was a master at using what? The media. Yeah, man, it's not the president. In fact, one of the main criticisms we have of Joe Biden, at least that I have of Joe Biden, is he don't use his bully pulpit in a way that really builds a new constituency or builds ideas around aggressive policies, radical policies that actually would change people's lives. He basically gets on the mic and says nothing. That's what he does. And Trump was really good at using the media. He did the opposite. He got on the mic and said things that were mostly damaging. Okay, so I agree. Politicians use race, but media uses race more. This is America. That's what media does. That's what Chuck does. And in fact, I'm going to play some clips of Chuck because a lot of people apparently don't know who Charles Barkley is. Because a lot of people are kissing his ass today. And I'm like, why is so much Charles Barkley ass kissing going on? This the motherfucker that don't even know why we need to limit cops. Now, don't get me wrong, even a broken clock can be right twice a day. I'm just saying, there are people in media who don't even know the shit that Charles has said. Publicly on media, not privately in his own house. Here goes some of the clips of Charles Barkley saying things, often wrong, occasionally right. Occasionally. It's almost like when Chuck is right, it's by accident, motherfucker. He don't even intend to be right. He kind of backs into being right. Or he's being so offensive, somehow it's right. Case in point.
Shared that news and how painful it.
I'm a black man. I use the N-word. I'm going to continue to use the N-word with my black friends, with my white friends. They are my friends. This debate that's going on with the Miami Dolphin thing about bullying and racial slurs. Hey, Ernie, in a locker room and when I'm with my friends, we use racial slurs. So this white America don't get to dictate how me and Shaq talk to each other. And they have been trying to infiltrate themselves saying, well, you guys use it. It's in rap music. No. That's not the same. As I tell my white friends who I love like brothers, whether it's Joe Klein, Mike Jaminski, Dan Marley, they've asked me, well, when is it appropriate? I said, well, if you use it around the wrong brother, the next thing you're going to hear is a clock side your damn head.
Go, Shaq.
That's when it's inappropriate, Ernie.
Good enough for that. And as offensive as that was, I fucking love that. Because that's how I feel. Yeah, when I'm with my brothers, like, who's a brother that you know that I know? My real brother, like my brother CJ or Cool or Gene. Those are my real brothers. Yeah, if I was with those brothers, you know what I mean? Like, because say I'm hanging out with a real brother, like DMX. Yeah, the way we talk, but that'd be the way I would talk with, like H.A. Goodman. But anyway, the point is this. Guys. God, I said H.A. Goodman, man. The point is this, guys. I like that about Chuck right there. Chuck said the right thing. Well, he said something that I can agree with. It's not right or wrong. I agree with this shit. I think Chuck is right here. White people should not be telling black people what they can say, how they can say it. And no, you don't get a pass to say it because black people say it. It's a free country. It's supposed to be equal rights, right? So why can't I say the word that we used, that we gave you to demean you and to demoralize you for 400 years? For 12 generations, you couldn't earn wealth, stack money, have your own ability to fulfill your own self-worth, to go forth in life. I owned you like furniture for 12 generations. And now I want to use that word now because you get to use it. Now I feel like a slave because I don't get to use that word. So Chuck's right about that. Now here goes some things Chuck was wrong about. Still want to kiss his ass?
I'm a black man.
And she was angry because her son got killed.
But you point out community makes mistakes too.
Well, and I've gotten in trouble because I think we as black people, we got to do better ourselves. Black on black crime is a travesty.
Yes.
And we can't keep treating each other with such disrespect, then call the cops. And when things go bad, get mad at the cops. We have to start policing ourselves much better.
Now I know why you really like Chuck. You like Chuck because he says shit like this. Yeah, as if you can't go anywhere on the globe where there's poverty and not find violence. Anywhere you go where there's poor people struggling for resources, you're going to find people with violence. And the whole idea of black on black crime is bullshit anyway. What you think goes on in Asian neighborhoods? Asian on Asian crime. What goes on in poor white neighborhoods? White on white crime. Hell, sometimes it goes on in affluent white neighborhoods. Fighting over who has the best landscaper, who has the most Christmas decorations. So this is bullshit. There's a lot of things Chuck doesn't address. He's really careful at who he picks a fight with. And 9 times out of 10, Chuck takes a dump on black people. And that's why a lot of people like him. Well, that's why a lot of white people like him. And a lot of conservative black people like him. Because he is a conservative who worships cops. Next clip.
I'm a black man.
Can't, when things go bad, get mad at the cops. We have to start policing ourselves much better.
What did you learn?
I learned there's some amazing people out there.
Yeah.
I met a pastor in Atlanta who So what I want to do is, like, I want people to watch and sit around and say, does he have a point? Does she have a point? Do they have a point? But everybody's so afraid. And you shouldn't be afraid to talk about it.
They got mad at you in Baltimore when it seemed like you were defending the police.
Well,
You took a lot of heat there.
And I had no problem with that. First of all, I've always defended the police, but that doesn't mean I think they're always right. First of all, we need the police, especially in the black community.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they don't make mistakes and they haven't did things wrong. We have to find a way to hold police accountable when they do things wrong.
That's the problem, Chuck. Police never get held accountable when they do things wrong, Chuck. You worshiping blue, anywho, Blue Lives Matter asshole? Yeah, man, this is what I'm talking about. This is the Chuck that don't give a fuck, okay? And this is a Chuck that says any old stupid shit. He's a conservative guy who he just told you, I always defend the cops. Even before he knows what happens, he defends the cops. That's why a lot of people didn't report on Chuck when Chuck called out politicians. And once again, in that same clip, and a few minutes later, what was he doing? Talking about race, talking about black people. He's not talking about white people. He's talking about black people issues. Why is a conversation about race relations always turn about Chuck telling black people that they need to do better? He sounds just like Obama, but less eloquent. I think I got one more Chuck piece.
I'm a black man.
I've always defended the police, but that doesn't mean I think they're always right. First of all, we need the police, especially in the black community.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they don't make mistakes and they haven't did things wrong. We have to find a way to hold police accountable when they do things wrong.
And you know, to your,
And let me make this other point. And I want to make this one point. You know, when people talk about race, they always want to act like it's only white people who are racist. Listen, there are black people who are racist also. Don't ever get that. That's one thing I always want to talk about. And I consider racism the greatest cancer of my lifetime. Unfortunately, to some people, I'm always going to be black. But the one thing I learned growing up in Alabama was my grandmother, who's the greatest person who ever lived in my life, said to me, you judge everybody by their own individual merits, because there are just as many black idiots as white idiots.
And Chuck is a black idiot. He is, man. Of course, there are some black people that don't like white people, who find them not people they want to hang out with. There are bigots in all races. I heard Ida Rodriguez talk about this bigotry in Puerto Ricans, that there are Puerto Ricans who treat other Puerto Ricans badly. Darker-skinned Puerto Ricans get treated bad by light-skinned Puerto Ricans. And probably as a reflex, dark-skinned Puerto Ricans probably don't mess with light-skinned Puerto Ricans as much. I mean, that's what the downtrodden do. And that's all black people do. But of course, yes, I'm sure in the Asian community, there's some rifts between different groups of Asians. I don't know, I'm not in that community, so I can't speak to that. But come on, dog, like this is not a new thing. This is what Chuck is missing and what a lot of people miss. Is that when we talk about race in America, we're not just talking about people's different opinions or preferences. That's not a problem. Everybody's got preferences. Fine, cool. When we talk about race, we talk about power. Who really gives a shit if somebody outside of Walmart is saying the N-word? Now, it may get you punched in the mouth. It may get you ostracized or chased off Twitter. But the real problem is substantive structural shit. that black people just can't do to white people. Come on, man. A black person may be mad at you, but can they deny you a job? Here goes a few list of things that being black costs you. See, it's not the same to say black people and white people are racist. It's white people that hold the power. For instance, when I covered the book by Sean Rochester called Black Taxed, how many of y'all sat through and really listened to that show? You must not have listened to that show, because then you would already know this shit. But just in case you did not listen, or maybe you knew, let me enlighten you. In Black Tax, we talked about all the things that are documented that cost black people more in this country just because they are black. It doesn't cost white people the same, because even if black people don't like white people, they can't stop white people from getting, for instance, real estate. That's right. Real estate appraisals. We just saw anecdotally, we saw 1 or 2 cases where black homeowners had to go and get their white friends to pretend to own their homes just so they can get a fair appraisal. How many black companies are doing appraisals are able to get lowball white people just because they white? Not that many, Johnson. We don't own enough real estate. They weren't even showing black people homes in white neighborhoods. They only showed them the hood. So they gave them less value on their homes, which damages their legacy and the amount of money they could pass down to their kids. Well, luckily they were smart enough to have a white friend come stand in for them. Next, automotive market. Do you know the average black, this is a study, these are not me making it up, okay? The average black car buyer pays $1,100 more than a white car buyer, with this even after adjustment for credit, history, and all other things, earning potential or earning wages or salary, things that they make the decisions on regarding buying a car. $1,100. It turns out the salesmen up the price when they deal with black people. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible that black dealership owners or salesmen don't raise the price of the vehicle when they see a white guy. But how many black salesmen are able to do that? And we even talk about financing, where based on our studies, we know that finance companies have been doing what? Adding more interest rate points to us, making us pay more money with the same credit as the white guys. In fact, guys, there's been lawsuits. Toyota's been sued. Honda's been sued. GMC's been sued. GMAC's been sued. For what? For discriminating against and making black people with the same credit pay more money when getting their cars financed. They got sued and lost, Johnson. Hell, GMAC was sued for even doing it to its own employees. So when Chuck says, hey, there's racist people and there's racist blacks, racist white, it's a big difference if you happen to be of the race that controls shit. I'm not done. Online commerce, Airbnbs. Do you know how hard it is for a person with a black sounding name to be able to get an Airbnb? They did studies on it. Oh, you want to know what's even worse? Being a black homeowner trying to rent out your Airbnb. A lot less value to the marketplace for some strange reason. Once again, I'm sure if black people own Airbnb, they could do the same thing, but they don't own Airbnb, dog. Job searches. We all know the stories about job searches and how black job searchers get less hits because their names sound black. What do you think happens when they show up and they are black? Or maybe sometimes they win people over, but what happens when they don't? We're talking about same education level, same level of experience, not getting called back for jobs. In fact, based on the book and based on the studies, there have been black people with more experience, more job experience, more education, getting less job offers than white people who are underqualified. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Chuck is either dumb or he's lying. Now, I would like to think he's dumb, and we just like the way he talks. But at some point, when I see people in the media cheering for Chuck, not putting it in any context, and just going with it, makes me think they kind of don't give a shit. All the things that I'm listing you that makes Chuck wrong. And I never see them do content on it. They just sort of let him say anything they want, and they ignore talking about it. Why? Because they can. Their base don't care about it. And who's their base? People always say, Tim, you don't even want to cover this. Why is that? Why? Because it's not news? You don't think the biggest justice, police brutality case in the last 30 years is news? Or is it that their base, who is mostly what, don't give a shit to watch it? You think they don't want viewership? Come on, dog. They covered Russiagate. Last thing. Business financing. Once again, Chuck says everybody's racist. Black people racist too. Yeah, so what? Who cares if you in your own bedroom throwing stuff at your TV when the show, the white guy wins the day or something? Who gives a fuck? Okay? How does that impact people's lives? But you know what impacts people's lives? The white guy who's the loan officer at TJ Morgan or JP Morgan Chase or Bank of America, who denies your loan application for your business, which is what happens to black people. So these are just a few of the things. And it's a longer list. It's more shit. I don't want this segment to be too long or too big, okay? I don't want it to go on and on. But let's live in reality. Okay, Chuck is right. Politicians use race, just like the media uses race. It's like everything in this country uses fucking race, and it's tiring. But you know what's even more tiring than being a white person listening to this shit? Being a black person having to live in it. Let me ask you something. Do they know us? When I say they, I mean the talking heads on cable news. Do they know you? I mean, they talk about the world as if it's a sport. They play political games, report on our pain, rack our brain to feed the stock exchange, but do they know us? Do they know what we care about? Nope. They're too far away. They can't see us. They can't feel us. They can't relate to us. See, when you want to know what's going on in your world, trust someone who lives in your world. Subscribe.